It began with a deep, trembling boom that shook the desert night. Over Dubai's towers, the sky caught fire. Streaks of light shot upwards, meeting others coming down. Explosions blossomed, petals of smoke and flame drifting over silent streets. This was not a storm. It was war, arriving without warning. That night, from Lebanon to Kuwait, rockets and drones filled the air. In 10 countries, people awoke to a new, fragile reality. To understand what was happening, we must look deeper, into the heart of Iran. This is a story about Iran, a system built to survive. Our journey begins not on a battlefield, but inside the soul of a nation. In most countries, there is one army, a single organization defending the land and its people. But Iran is different. For years, it has had 2 distinct military forces. The first is the Artesh, the conventional military, hundreds of thousands strong, guarding borders and operating tanks and jets. The Artesh represents Iran as a country, rooted in a long history. The second is the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC. Smaller but far more powerful, the IRGC was created after the 1979 revolution to protect the revolution itself. Its mission: defend the system and its ideology from enemies inside and out. The IRGC is not just a military force, it is the guardian of an idea. These 2 armies exist side by side, but they are not equals. The Artesh protects the land, the IRGC protects the soul of the state. The IRGC controls Iran's most advanced assets, ballistic missiles, drones and naval forces. It holds the sharpest sword and stands at the center of this new, dangerous chapter. Understanding this dual structure is key to understanding Iran's choices in conflict. The IRGC is more than soldiers. It's a parallel state touching every part of Iranian life. It owns companies in construction, energy, banking and more, generating its own wealth and power. This economic independence gives it freedom and influence beyond other state institutions. The IRGC also shapes culture and politics, with its own intelligence, media and vast networks. Its mission: uphold the ideals of the revolution and build a society based on its vision. When Iran acts on the world stage, it's almost always the IRGC making the call. Western planners believed Iran's command was centralized. Strike the top, and the system would collapse. But as conflict erupted, the IRGC did the unexpected: it decentralized command. Local commanders gained freedom to act independently, launching attacks based on their own judgment. This made the IRGC resilient. Striking Tehran no longer crippled the system, but it also brought chaos. Uncoordinated actions, like the accidental strike on Oman, created diplomatic nightmares. Decentralization made the IRGC harder to defeat and nearly impossible to negotiate with. The strategy embraced chaos as defense, leaving the world struggling to respond. It was a brilliant, dangerous adaptation. The attacks on the Gulf, especially Dubai, were calculated to strike more than buildings. They targeted an idea. Dubai, a symbol of safety and prosperity, saw its image shattered as smoke rose from a famous hotel. The fire was from falling debris, not a direct hit, but perception mattered more than fact. The message, "Nowhere is truly safe." The psychological impact was profound. Dubai's spirit, not just its skyline, was wounded. Iran's strategy was to show its reach could disrupt even the most stable corners of the region. The attack halted global business and humanitarian aid, including the WHO's logistics hub. The burning hotel became a symbol, a crack in the shield. For Gulf leaders, it was a stark reminder of their vulnerability. This was a war of perceptions, where fear was the most powerful weapon. Before the conflict, the Gulf monarchies and Iran were cautiously building trust, reopening embassies, opening dialogue. The attacks shattered that fragile progress overnight. Missiles and drones destroyed not just buildings, but the foundations of trust. Gulf leaders felt betrayed, their hopes for peace replaced by shock and anger. The sense of security built over decades vanished in a single night. The decentralized, unpredictable nature of the attacks made the threat seem even greater. Now an arms race looms, and diplomatic solutions seem distant. The bridges built have burned, replaced by suspicion and fear. The conflict may end, but the memory of betrayal will linger for a generation. The region has returned to a dangerous pattern of mistrust. Iran is not a monolith. It's a tapestry of nearly 90 million people and many ethnic groups. Persians, Azeris, Kurds, Arabs, Baluchis and more. National identity has long unified this diversity, especially in times of crisis. Outsiders often underestimate the power of Iranian patriotism, but unity is not absolute. Minority groups along the borders have grievances, cultural and economic. In peace, these tensions are managed. In war, they threaten to unravel the fabric of the nation. Reports of foreign support for minorities add to the strain. The question, will nationalism hold Iran together, or will the pressure tear it apart? Analysts now fear Iran could become a failed state, a nightmare scenario with global consequences. A collapse would trigger a humanitarian disaster, with millions of refugees overwhelming the region. Lawless territories could emerge, giving extremist groups access to advanced weapons. The vital Strait of Hormuz could fall into chaos, threatening the world's oil supply and economy. While weakening the regime is a goal, no one wants the country itself to fall apart. Iran's unity is powerful, but not unbreakable. In trying to solve one problem, the world risks creating a far greater one. As conflict drags on, the question remains, what does victory look like? The goals shift, prevent nuclear weapons, change the regime, alter its behavior, but none are clear or consistent. Iran's system is resilient, rooted in ideology and history. Pressure alone is unlikely to bring collapse. If victory isn't regime change or state collapse, what is it? A return to mistrust? Endless simmering conflict? Decentralization means even a deal at the top may not end the fighting. True stability requires more than military plans. It demands understanding the people and history at the heart of the conflict. The real measure of this war is found in the lives it disrupts and the questions it leaves behind.